I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the default plan, the Missouri default plan, because I think it's important for you to know what that plan looks like. I suspect some of us in this room probably are relying on that default plan right now, maybe with, a couple of beneficiary designations, the transfer on death designations on a few things. We might co-own property with a spouse or with someone else, but by and large, if you don't have a will or a trust together, then this is going to be your plan, at least for now. It is a plan that's written in statute, and 1996 was the last time the statute was revised. It gets updated every now and then. But it says, in terms of who gets your property, I'm going to have, we're going to talk about this person here in green. If this person, let's say his name is Joe, he dies without a will, without a trust, so he's relying on the default plan. He's not married, so the next couple scenarios, we're talking about someone who is single. If he has children, the Missouri default plan says everything goes to his children. Now, these are his adopted or biological children, not stepchildren. If he had children that have since passed away but left him some grandkids or some great-grandkids, the statute says you just keep going down the line, starting with the children, until you find somebody alive in that generation, and then they get it. Or if there's multiples, then they get it divided equally among them. If he never had children when he died, but Joe's parents were alive, then Joe's parents would take his full estate along with his brothers and sisters. So mom, dad, brother, sister would all share in equal parts. If they were deceased, but he had descendants from his brothers and sisters and his parents, then they would take. And it just keeps going up the line. If there are no parents or brothers and sisters, but he's got a grandparent or an uncle, they would take. And if there are none of them, then the great-grandparents, great-uncles, and first cousins, once removed, would take. And all the way up to the great-great-grandparents, great-grand-uncles, and so forth. So that's pretty far-fetched, but it does happen. Now, scenario if you die under the Missouri's plan and you're married. This is how your estate would be divided up. If you have no children, but you have a spouse, then the spouse gets 100%. That makes sense. If you're married and you have children and your spouse survives you and your children are only with the spouse that you presently have, you don't have any children from a prior relationship or a prior marriage, then your spouse gets the first $20,000 and then half of your assets, and then your children divide the other half equally among them. If you're married, your spouse survives you, and you have children with your spouse, but let's say you have at least one child with somebody other than your spouse. Then that changes things considerably. Now your spouse takes half of your assets, and your child with the previous relationship and any children that you share with your spouse, they all take the other half of your estate and share it equally. Just a little food for thought. Kind of think about whether any of those scenarios, if they fit you and if that is okay with you, then it's good for you to know that that's the plan that would be in place. If it's not okay with you, then it's a good idea to look at putting your own plan in place.